Today on this Roll for Crit digital review, we are digitally recording ourselves from different locations to review Akram Digital's Istanbul, the digital video game version. I hope you're not playing a drinking game where you drink every time we say digital.
You'll be out pretty quick. So digitally speaking, this is of course the adaptation of the board game Istanbul, and it has the same premise. If you're unfamiliar, it's a worker placement game in which you are traveling around different tiles that represent different areas of a marketplace. Each one has different actions you can take, and your goal is to get the most rubies to win the game. The twist here is that as you travel around, you kind of have a stack of workers, and when you go to a new tile, you have to either leave a worker behind or get one of your workers back that you left at a tile you were at previously. And if you're unable to do so, then you got to go back to this fountain space, which lets you take everyone back from all around the board, or there are a couple other ways to get around it. But that's the way it works. You're gathering resources, you're getting money, and there are all kinds of different ways to ultimately get rubies that are your end game goal. This adaptation is, like many adaptations, I think, pretty faithful to the game. I thought that, I'll just get right into it. I thought that it did a pretty good job as a game. A lot of things that I think some other digital adaptations don't do, I liked here. In particular, one that I'll just start off with that's very important to me, that I feel like so many digital adaptations don't do, and I don't know why, is an undo button. At the end of, other than certain actions which you have to commit to, at the end of your turn, there's always an undo button. If you see the outcome of something and you didn't like it, or you changed your mind, or you made a mistake, you can undo it. So right. I love that.
We should clarify, in case anyone's curious, the undo where you can't undo would be like if you draw a card, dice roll. You know those moments where like, oh, if I know it was going to be bad, I wouldn't have done it.
Nothing you can't like cheat using it.
Right. It's more of the moments when I'm going to go to this location. Oh, wait, that location works this way. I didn't mean that. Like if it was going to tell you you're going to gain this, or you can't pay for the price for it because you didn't realize you needed an extra silk or something.
Yeah, so I think that's really nice because, in real life, we do that all the time. Unless you're like hardcore playing with chess rules, when you take your hand off, you're done. What was your overall experience like with the game? How'd you feel?
So I had not played Istanbul before this, so it was interesting to learn. I do like how there's a lot of the customization. You can shuffle it. I don't think I found, at least, but there isn't a way where you can make a custom layout, which I'm sure some people do, which could be a little disappointing. But I think overall it does probably what you'd want in the game. It has the neutral modes. We play with just the base, by the way. We should explain with this. And the one weird thing I encountered was I was doing really poorly. Like everyone else was at 4, I was still at 1, and I'm like, I'm gonna lose this. Let me just start a new game. So I surrendered. It kept playing through.
Oh, it showed you the rest of the game after you left?
Yeah, I was out. Skip it. I don't know, because it was like a few turns until someone won. I don't know if I did that at the start of a game, it would play through an entire game. I didn't think it was worth trying, but that was a little bit odd.
Yeah, well, if you want, you can just watch AI play and maybe get some tips. I thought that the tutorial that they give you at the beginning was okay, not great, but at least they include kind of a reference guide and rule book. In general, I wish that all these digital versions would just give you a full rule book if you wanted to read it. You could find that online, but I think once you get through a few turns, you get the hang of it, but I wish that maybe it was a little more in depth.
No, right.
But I thought that it was okay. The game also has achievements that you can get that are built in. At least we played on the Steam version. I'm not sure if there's other versions that may differ. But I think so. I think a lot of them are built in.
They were two separate. Yeah, not all of them became Steve achievements.
Right. So I always find those fun.
Mm-hmm. It's always good to include in games because that allows people to have more weird things. Like one of them was that I got without trying was get 2 gems in 1 turn.
Oh, yeah, I got that too.
And then there's like, if you look, there's like win with 7 gems, get 3 gems in a turn. So like there's challenges where you're like, I'm going to try to do something weird to try to get that achievement, which can add a bit more fun and replayability to the game. Yeah. Especially if you're not playing with other people.
Right. There's no kind of campaign or anything like that. You're either playing AI or online. I did really like the online options. I think they're pretty robust in terms of letting you choose which like kind of variant that you want, deciding if you want to replace someone with AI if they leave. And another thing I really like with the online is it allows for the option of asynchronous play. So you can play with someone, and the way it works is they have up to 48 hours to take their turn, and they'll get little notifications reminding them it's their turn.
The longest game of Istanbul.
Yeah, so I think that's just really fun. I would love to see more games do that, where you could play a game and like, oh, just pop in, take a turn, like a chess by mail kind of thing that they used to do. I think that's a cool option to have. In general, yeah, I mean, it's not a super complex game, so I don't think there's a ton they had to do to make this work well, but it works well. You can click on all the tiles and figure out what they do if you forget. There's lots of reminders. The colors pop well. All the information is laid out well for you. I think it's definitely one of those games that, like, again, it doesn't have any kind of real single player content other than just playing the game over and over. So better for someone who, you really love Istanbul, or if you actually have friends who will play with you online. But if you're a fan, I think it's one of the better done, honestly, in terms of just the presentation and interface of these digital versions that I've seen. So I would recommend people buy it.
Yeah, and it's also pretty nice if, for whatever reason, that you are forced to be cooped up inside. That way you get the chance to play a board game without needing people sitting next to you.
Yeah, that's always a plus. I guess we'll say our sum ups. Like I said, for me it's a buy it. For you, it's a buy it as well.
I think so, yeah, because it's a good simple game. It's nothing too complex in terms of like if you're getting new into the board game area. It is on the more just worker placement, and I mean, there's a theme, but it's not like a merit trash game. I don't think anyone would call it that. But because it's so light and it's digital, and that means you're going to be able to get it for a reasonable price and be able to play with people online, especially with that asynchronous mode, I think it is a good buy, especially whether you are just a big fan of the game or you're new into board games.
Yeah. So take a look at Istanbul. Again, we played it on Steam. We'll put a link in the description below so you can find it for yourself. And let us know in the comments if you've had any experience with the game, if you've tried playing it online with anybody, how you think it compares to the physical version. Until next time, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Will.
And this is Roll for Crit.
Get an inspiration token by supporting us on Patreon and liking and subscribing to this channel.
If you support us on Patreon, you'll get access to our audio expansion podcast. It's so good.